Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Here's my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to the Bargain Bin. He is your host, Ben Mason.
And he is your co-host, Sandro Luketic. And today we're talking 1986's Youngblood. We assume if you're listening to this episode, you have already seen the movie. And I believe this is the first time both of us have seen this movie.
That is correct. Well, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I know it's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, no, I had not seen it before. The end of the last episode was just purely dramatic effect.
I should hope so, because you really led me on there.
Why?
I felt apologetic after that. I was like, oh shit, he's going to be mad at me because he hates this movie.
I do have to ask, though, why? Why this movie?
You know why. Wait, did I tell you?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I mean, I told you one aspect of this story. When I'm working a lot, I will be playing 80s movie soundtracks on YouTube as like my background music while I'm working. And a lot of them are random mixes from different movies. One of the songs that was starting to come up more frequently was Stand in the Fire from this movie soundtrack.
Great
which, disappointingly, did not appear in the movie at any point.
Nope.
I was so disappointed. Even the training montage. I'm like, where is it? It's not like it's one of those movies or songs that's kind of loosely in a soundtrack. Like, the entire music video is scenes from this movie. Like, it's completely 100%. And it's not on Spotify for this movie. It's not in the movie itself. But that was the reason. I just kept seeing this music video for this movie over and over and over again. And I liked the song. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to review this movie.
I love thinking that you watched a 2-hour-long movie to see how that song would be used with zero payoff.
Hour and 40 minutes, sir.
Hour 40, no way. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's an hour 49, hour 50, but credits start at about 1:41.
Hour 50, full runtime.
But okay, the one that I had was, okay, we're splitting hairs over a minute. But you are absolutely correct, because I was waiting for this song the entire time. And if you saw my face, like, during the second viewing, it was a face of disappointment, because, like, I know it's not coming.
That's why you go back to Rad for Send Me an Angel BMX dance.
No. If I go to Rad, it's for Thunder in My Heart.
Yeah, it's a great song.
But what I should have just done is, when I knew that the montage scene was coming, open it up on YouTube and just play the song over and over. I'm making my own soundtrack.
Almost 2-hour movie with the same song just looping over dialogue.
I mean, okay, if I was the one who was doing like this movie kind of coordination, I would absolutely, based on like the lyrical content of Stand in the Fire, it would have been during the training montage near the end.
This movie always stood out to me because yes, it's a hockey movie, not exactly my thing. I'm not a really big sports film guy, Mighty Ducks excluded. But seeing Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, and Keanu Reeves build in this in a hockey film set in what was then a smaller town, Ontario setting, just seemed boring to me. And I didn't understand the casting, didn't understand the point, so I just avoided it at all cost until now.
Don't mislead people by saying Keanu Reeves. He's barely in this.
Yeah. In like face only. I think he's supposed to be French in this, but I don't know.
No, he's absolutely supposed to be French.
Okay.
He has 4 or 5 lines, and they are all using like a French Canadian accent. And I guess he got the role too, partially because he played a goalie in like minor hockey.
Yep.
So that's kind of cool. And being on set with Patrick Swayze maybe led to them doing some work together in the future.
Yeah, without Youngblood, there's no Point Break.
Can you imagine if that was true? How much more important this movie ultimately becomes?
That's fine, man. Like, after watching this, like, I'm glad this movie exists.
If that's the only reason.
Oh no. Well, you'll hear how I feel about it afterwards.
Okay, all right. Why don't we jump into it then?
All right. Well, the film opens with home movies of kids playing hockey on a frozen lake. The game takes a pause as Kelly Youngblood starts a fight, which is a really odd opening, but okay, because then it just cuts to a credit montage of Dean Youngblood, played by Rob Lowe, running different hockey drills in the dark, save for the lights of a Zamboni, for almost 3 minutes.
There are a few occurrences in this movie where you could absolutely shave down the runtime.
Yeah, get away from that 110-minute mark, guys. Cut to breakfast at the Youngblood family farm. Dean tells his brother Kelly, played by Jim Youngs, and father Blaine, Eric Nestorenko, who played for the Leafs for a while in real life, that he's been offered a tryout with the Hamilton Mustangs. I still don't know why they chose Hamilton.
No.
Yes.
No. You said the Hamilton Mustangs. It bothered me to no end, because you know how this stuff bothers me. When he says, I got a tryout with Hamilton Mustangs, and I'm like, where's the?
That doesn't matter.
It matters to me. It doesn't sound right.
That's fine. Anyway, he was offered a tryout with the Hamilton Mustangs. Blaine says there's too much work to be done on the farm, and they don't have enough money to hire a replacement. Here we learn that Kelly also had hopes of making it in hockey, but ended up with a severe eye injury and a $2,000 medical bill. Yeah, Kelly, Youngblood, blue eye, brown eye. Not sure what kind of injury that would have been, but okay.
I think the idea is that they're trying to show that he got blinded in the one eye.
Yeah, I would believe so as well, but...
Yeah.
Kelly offers to pick up the slack, but his father shoots him down. Blaine's concern is that Dean is too small for hockey, but Kelly convinces his father to let Dean try out.
I'm surprised they got a $2,000 medical bill.
I think it'd be a lot more than that, yeah?
Well, I would think that there wouldn't be one, because even American athletes that are working in Canada get the universal health care.
Nothing says Kelly was in Canada when he got injured.
They imply that he was playing for the same team.
Oh, I never got that.
Even later in the movie when they're fighting, he says, I almost picked up the phone and asked them if they would take me back. And during the initial tryout, when they say, who's that on the ice? Dean Youngblood. And they say, oh, that's Jim's younger brother.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I didn't pick up on any of that, and it played out just fine.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just being me. Don't worry about that.
All right. On the road to Hamilton, Kelly and Dean pass over Niagara Falls while singing the Canadian national anthem before arriving at the stunningly beautiful Hamilton Arena.
Looks like a piece of garbage.
I have in my notes, this place looks like an old abandoned Kmart after a structure fire.
Sure.
It's awful. But that's the one thing about this movie. It is not glamorous whatsoever.
No.
Everything about it is dirty. It's run down. There's nothing to do. All the guys do is either, play hockey or go get drunk. There's nothing seemingly to do in the city. So it's all about, this movie is all about human interaction because there's nothing else for them to do.
Be a very different Hamilton in the mid 80s than the one that I know.
Maybe the Hamilton I know, obviously, yes, it does not look like this anymore. I'm surprised that they didn't talk about the smell, but it definitely came across in the way it looked filthy.
I don't know about it being a good town. I just know that Hamilton is not by any means a quote unquote small town.
No, it was, but it has definitely built up and it is still growing and it's going to be a hub soon, if not already. But they do their best to make it look like it's in the middle of nowhere and nobody really wants to be there.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody gives a crap about us talking about Canadian geography. Wait till they find out about Thunder Bay.
Oh. Kelly drops off Dean and reminds him not to take any shit from those Canucks. Dean shrugs it off, saying they'll never catch him, but Kelly assures him they will.
Was it odd that he said to them, you're just another wetback coming to play their game.
Yeah, I left that out because I didn't really want to touch on it, but it's definitely an out of place comment, and I don't understand how they would apply that to an American crossing the border into Canada.
Yeah, I have no idea, dude.
That's right. Well, inside the arena, we meet Mustangs coach Murray Chadwick, played by the actor Randy Quaid always hoped to be, the late, great Ed Lauder. He is phenomenal in this. I love Chadwick. I'm assuming by your silence, you do not feel the same.
I'm torn on Chadwick. I'm good with Ed Lauder.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Chadwick is overseeing the tryouts and is extremely unimpressed with what's happening on the ice.
Well, how could he not be unimpressed? There's a guy trying out who trips. And I get that, he makes the comment he tripped over the blue line. For people who don't know hockey, there's no elevation to it. It's the color under the ice. So it's all flat. Well, how do you even make it that far to a tryout and not be able to stay on your skates?
Oh, yeah. In the prestigious Hamilton region.
Even still, they're talking about how this is the big opportunity. It's one step below the majors. If I showed up to like a minor league basketball tryout and bounced the ball off my face, they would just laugh me out of the gym. I wouldn't even be participating in the tryout. You can't skate. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a sports movie. Like I said, they're not really my thing.
Oh, I mean, it definitely shows. It definitely shows how it comes down to a two-man competition when the other guys can't even skate.
Well, it comes down to Carl Racky, a penalty-ridden enforcer, and of course our young speedster Dean Youngblood. Yeah, obviously, just everybody else fucking up is a way of showing that there's no hope that anyone's gonna make this team. I do have to say, though, the Racky is played by George Finn, who played actually played in the OHL for a few years, but this is his only major film role and only one of two acting roles, which I find a shame because he really plays the role of like the badass villain enforcer very well.
I would have thought he was just an actor. He did a perfectly fine job.
Yeah, it was great, especially for a mid-'80s sports film. Derek Sutton, played by Patrick Swayze, and other players from the Mustangs are watching the game as well, commenting that nobody can stop Dean from scoring because nobody can catch him. He doesn't really seem to be going that fast, though.
This is my problem with the entirety of this movie, because I am a big sports movie guy. The way that they shoot all of the action on the ice with no dynamic like angles or quick cuts or anything, it just feels like it's constantly in slow motion. The on ice action is awful throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point to bring up because I don't know if this is actually a hockey film or if hockey is just kind of their reason for being there. Because this is all about, accomplishing your goals, realizing who you are, overcoming obstacles in your life. And it just so happens that in this movie, it's hockey.
Did that make it a poker tournament? I don't care. But if you're going to make hockey a big part of your movie, whether you're going to make it like the thematic focus or not, do it right.
Oh, they don't care. They just want to have Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze in a movie. Did you say poker? No one's going to pay to see a movie in theaters in 1986 about Patrick Swayze and Rob Lowe playing poker. No one gives a shit.
Well, it would make sense with the pace at which they show the on-ice action.
I don't think it was that bad.
All right, fine. Well, watch more hockey or sports movies then.
No. Chadwick is on the same page and decides to put Racky up against Youngblood. All goes as expected as Racky cross-checks Dean in the face, opening up a gash over his eyebrow, which was a super brutal move, but I thought he actually hit him in the face. I didn't see the eyebrow connection whatsoever.
Well, I mean, part of
story-wise.
Part of also the poor filming of the on-ice stuff. They don't get good angles. They don't have the right angle to kind of make the illusion that he's hitting him in the face without showing it. They just tried to hide it, and it just doesn't work that well. But all right, I guess a stick to the face is perfectly fine in hockey these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things that get by in this movie that people just don't call. But Dean checks Racky into the boards and scores another goal, then is checked to the ground by the big man. The two square off, and Racky drops Dean with a single punch. Okay, so that perfectly sets up who Dean is. Good at puck handling, good at skating, can't fight. Generic, we got it. But next we have a workout scene where Swayze's pumping iron, and for some reason Hewitt is working out in his hockey gear. And they nod at each other like, yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah. And then Swayze just spins his towel up and whips Hewitt in the dick, and they laugh, and Swayze leaves.
That was a terrible towel whip.
It was terrible.
He didn't wrap that thing up at all. It was just like a fluttering.
Would you do it? Why?
I think he was more just trying to cool him off by waving a breeze at him.
All right, sports guy. How often do you whip somebody else in the dick with your towel? Is this what I'm missing out on all the sports movies I haven't seen?
In my years of playing basketball and football through high school, I saw that happen exactly 0 times.
Okay. So you're telling me that Youngblood's an unrealistic sports film? It does not capture the the life, the true experience of being on a sports team.
It must be something that you attain as you get into higher ranks. Probably in high school, we're just not qualified enough to whip each other with towels.
All right. Man, it's an educational podcast. The team doesn't have a doctor, so assistant coach Frazier stitches up Dean's face. He can't even see the eye of the needle, so he has to get Dean to thread it, and tosses in the fact that he's out of Novocaine, so it might hurt a little bit.
Once I get it started, I'm okay.
I love that he points out that he actually does embroidery too.
Yeah. Needlepoint. Yeah. That's mine on the wall.
Yeah. Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Mm-hmm. Chadwick enters the locker room and lets Dean know that he made the team. He then confronts Racky, who is pissed about losing the spot since he kicked Dean's asshole over the ice. Chadwick says he needs somebody who can put the puck in the net, and Racky storms off, knocking things over as he leaves.
Another complaint that I have?
Yes?
If you're an enforcer in hockey, you know that's what you are. If the tryout says they need a scorer, don't be surprised if that's not what you do.
Yeah.
I didn't go out for basketball and be like, all right, you guys need a center? Here comes 5'11" me.
Can you imagine the set up for drills, and as soon as the whistle goes, he just drops his gloves and starts punching the nearest guy?
That's the referee, dude.
This is the best tryout ever.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be pissed that he makes the team, but he should definitely know why.
Well, can you explain this next part to me?
Probably not.
Because Dean follows him into the hallway, losing his towel and leaving him only in his jockstrap. And what was his plan?
Well, he took a hockey stick. I think he was going to mess Racky up.
It's just going to confront him in the hallway?
Yeah.
I don't know. I highly doubt it because he doesn't know how to fight, and the stick gets taken from him every time anyway.
Well, yeah, but now his opponent's not holding a stick themselves.
I don't know. If I was
he's going to cheap shot him from behind.
If I was going to wear a jock and a towel, I wouldn't be going after a fully clothed enforcer with a hockey bag over his arm. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
He looks so unintimidating. He's puffing out his chest, and it's he's pretty fit, but he still doesn't look intimidating at all.
No, he's not intimidating. He looks great, though. No wonder Corey Haim had a poster of him in Lost Boys. Okay. Which actually would have been a year after this, so maybe it was a Youngblood poster.
Maybe. You have to go back and check it out, I guess.
Jessie, played by Cynthia Gibb, rounds the corner and gets an eyeful of Dean's bare ass. She makes a few quips, and Dean tries to duck into multiple rooms, but all the doors are locked. And the look of defeat on his face is fucking hilarious. He does his best to compose himself and slowly walks past Jessie and toward the locker room. She sneaks another look at some Dean bum and laughs as the new Mustang does a bit of stick handling down the hallway.
So I have a couple of comments here.
I'm sure you do.
One, she says, the locker room is that way. Like he didn't just walk from the locker room. already forgot the one hallway that he walked down from.
Oh, it's a quip for sure. He just doesn't want to have to walk past her.
I like how she's like, is that the new uniforms for the playoffs? I thought that was funny. But what a boss move. She hands him the towel.
Yep.
And he just throws it over his shoulder instead of wrapping himself up with it. Like, all right, I'm going to own this.
But he doesn't because he covers himself up with the stick, with the blade of the stick, awkwardly.
I mean, once he grabs the towel, at that point, when he's walking down stick handling, he just throws it over his shoulder.
Yeah, it is weird, though. He's like, I can't let her see my slightly covered groin, but bare ass is fine.
I think he just accepted the situation he was in, and he owned it.
I don't know. He looked super nervous, but as soon as they didn't make eye contact, it was like a false sense of confidence where it's like, time to show her what I could do on the ice. Yeah. Click, clack, clack, click, clack, clack, clack. I don't know. It was funny, but odd.
I mean, it's a nice way to have the first encounter between them.
It's an 80s movie.
Yeah.
After practice, Dean is jumped by Sutton and the boys and is initiated into the team when they hold him down and shave his groin with a straight razor. Sutton is wearing a jock as a doctor's mask and tells the boys to hold him still since they don't want another Victor Gunderson incident. Obviously doing an amazing job of terrifying Dean.
No, before you ask, no, we didn't do this in sports either.
Okay, good. I mean, the question was there. I just didn't know if I was going to ask it or not. I mean, all I really know is like football, volleyball, badminton, and track. And none of that happened there. So maybe it's a hockey thing. Maybe this is why hockey's so popular in Canada.
Maybe.
Later the day, Dean arrives at Miss McGill's boarding house. And what do you think of Miss McGill?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Played by, I don't even fully know how to pronounce the name, so I had to look it up. Finola Flanagan. Answers the door, having, I guess, been interrupted cleaning the oven, wearing dirty gloves, apron, and short shorts. I had to look it up. At this point, she was the actor's 45. I'm not really looking 45. But it's tea time in Dean's room, which quickly turns into sex. And we find that she's also keeping the hockey cards of all the players who she slept with while they stayed in her house. Not
just keeping them. She leads off by showing her. Yeah. This is one of my guys.
Yeah.
This is one of my boys' collection.
And it's a fucking stack of cards.
It's a stack. Well, doesn't she say she's been like housing hockey players for like 19 years or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's 17.
Oh yeah, he's definitely 17. It confused me so much because it doesn't fit in this movie. It's like we're gonna take this 2-minute period where now this turns into a sex comedy.
Literally.
Yeah. Anyway, this is also, I think, the first time we see Heaver, played by Keanu Reeves. He and another player, Hewitt, who we saw before, are spying on Dean and McGill. I guess that's really all there is to say about that.
Sure, yeah.
Cut to a bar where the team is sitting around the table. Sutton raises a glass, claiming the only thing better than a glass of beer is tea with Miss McGill. No, it isn't. I can tell you right now, no, it is not. Those are some standards to live by. The two best things in the world are beer and McGill. Mm-mm. The boys compliment Dean on his speed, but point out his slow fists. They build up the hype behind Racky, saying he's rough even for their league. Heaver puts on the worst French accent I've ever heard, and I have notes here. Is he actually supposed to be French? But you clarified that. Sutton starts calling for rounds of tequila, and the shots start flying. Two girls join them at the table. They prank one of the girls by putting a player's teeth in her Bloody Mary. The jokes continue as the boys trick Dean into doing more shots and getting wasted.
I'm okay with it. Another initiation. One that makes more sense to me than shaving his nuts.
Yeah, definitely. Although taking out that top plate of teeth and putting it in someone's drink, I don't know. I didn't really find that as funny. It was more like queasy than anything, but it worked for the scene.
I mean, At least it's a good thing they're hockey players, because even in Canada, 17-year-olds shouldn't be getting served in a bar.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Everyone's constantly drinking in this movie when they're not playing hockey.
Why did they even have to be 17?
I have no idea.
There's no reason for it. It's not like, oh, I got to go back to school.
We know that Sutton is not 17, though, because he's been in the league for 4 years.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. He's like the sports hero in town. We know that he has a fan club with chapters all over the province, which is weird, but all right. The next morning, the boys are doing drills and practice, and Dean's in rough shape.
Yeah. Well, he was drinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love how, like, as they were tricking him doing more shots, they were just throwing the tequila behind them.
Yep.
My buddy Josh and I did this to our friend Curtis once, where we were all out drinking, and we kept ordering vodka shots, but Josh and I had told the server for us just make it water.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, same result. I feel really bad now telling that story. It was funny at the time. Dean and Sutton vie for the puck, and one heck puts Dean down. Chadwick is unimpressed, possibly thinking he made the wrong choice. I mean, what was his other choice? Somebody else who couldn't score?
No, but at least then he'd have an enforcer instead of a nothing.
Yeah, which is weird because later on we learn that there are no real enforcers on the team, and then they all become enforcers. No?
Yep, I don't know. Whatever.
All right. That night, Dean walks down the sidewalk and encounters Jesse coming out of a screening of Slumber Party Massacre. Awesome. Weird back and forth here. Dean asks how she liked the movie. She says he would love it since it's his type of movie.
That's what she says, yep.
Which I don't get. He says, I don't like the sight of blood, and she quips back, unless it's your own. Being pretty standoffish. She then offers him popcorn, though, which he accepts, and as he takes it, she turns and walks away. Making it a little bit creepier, he just follows her down the sidewalk and into a corner store. He looks at a paperback copy of Nympho and is embarrassed when she sees him. Don't look at the book then. She buys him a copy of Melville's Moby Dick, but Dean secretly buys a copy of Nympho and puts both in the bag. Outside, the two awkwardly run into Chadwick, and here is where we're supposed to find out that Jessie's the coach's daughter, but who didn't see that one coming anyway? Dean shows Chadwick his daughter bought him a book, but accidentally presents Nympho instead of Moby Dick. And the look on Lauder's face here is pretty funny to me. It's kind of like I'm unimpressed, but I also expect this from a teenage hockey player. Also, he doesn't seem like a bad kid. So I don't know if this is actually good acting or bad writing.
Too many questions, dude.
Sorry.
To be honest, most of these scenes fell flat for me.
Yeah. Again, a lot of it feels like padding the running time unnecessarily.
I mean, I didn't feel much chemistry between their flirting and the whole
that is
Nympho
a big problem.
Pulling out the wrong book was a little too predictable.
Yeah, there are some cheap comedy bits in here that don't fit, just like the Miss McGill thing. Chadwick offers his daughter a ride home, but she decides to stay out with Dean a while longer. The two walk and talk for what seems like a minute before Jessie tells Dean it isn't smart for them to date and walks off. I don't know why she just wouldn't have taken that drive home then. Next day at the locker room, we see assistant coach Frazier giving Hewitt a cortisone shot. And the first thing I was thinking of is they're actually doping the team. That's insane.
You know what the really stupid part of this is?
What's that?
They never throw back to it. It's just a scene that happens.
Well, and that's because I noticed right after that he has a massive scar along the inside of his armpit. And if for health reasons you need those, it's okay in hockey.
Yes, but at the same time,
it was an intentional misdirect.
So later on, play up his injury instead of a suspension. Something. I don't know. It's there.
Yeah, no, and I think that is an intentional joke played on the viewer to be like, holy shit, they're doping these guys. When it's like, oh no, this is just something he routinely has to do because of a previous injury.
Yeah, I don't know.
For some reason, Sutton eats a rose that was sent to him from his fan club, the Toronto chapter. Chadwick walks in to hype up the team before the game. Dean is starting left wing with Sutton as center. Game starts, and I'm immediately looking at the ads on the boards. I see a CDFY radio ad that lets us know that this is somewhere near Cochrane, Ontario. I don't know why. So it's an away game, though, but the jerseys haven't changed. We start to see conflict between Sutton and Youngblood on the ice, as well as an introduction to the worst ref in the history of hockey, Hannah. I fucking hate Hannah. This actor does a great job at making you hate the character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In her high school class, Jessie secretly listens to the game on a radio, eventually popping to a goal by Dean and drawing the ire of her teacher. Somehow, Dean's goal seems to calm the waters of tension with Sutton as he tosses Dean the puck from the goal and gives him a nod. They hit the bench, and Chadwick tells another player to take Dean's next shift. It's kind of a dodgy move, and didn't really seem too clear to me why, other than the encounter on the sidewalk the other night.
Well, I think that's the implication, but
it could have been clearer.
It absolutely could have. My question is, what time of day did this game occur?
I have no idea. Does it matter?
Well, she's in school, and this is the playoffs, so it shouldn't be a weekday during the day.
It's the OHL.
They still play for an audience.
They don't play NHL schedule, though.
But they still don't play during the weekdays.
86, American movie depicting in a minor Canadian hockey league. I don't know what you expect, man.
An audience in the arena.
That would cost too much. That's why they you only see that little bit on the ice and they just cut to the post-game winning locker room antics. Everybody's pumping fists and cheering while Dean sits frustrated and Sutton looks concerned. Jessie's resurfacing the ice with the Zamboni when Dean pratfalls in front of her just to get her to talk to him. They have minor chit-chat. Dean tells her that Chadwick benched him because he's seeing her. Smooth move from Dean here saying, if I'm getting benched for something I didn't do, I figure I may as well do it.
Yeah, that was good.
It was good. He asked her out thinking she'll agree because it goes against her father's wishes, and it does.
All right, I like the logic behind all of this.
The date is a public skate with a bunch of old folks.
Don't like this.
No, Jessie says it was this or Slumber Party Massacre. Yeah, that's a tough call. Did you ever go to public skates when you were a kid?
No.
No, love them.
I don't even really know how to skate.
Really?
Really?
You're the sports guy. I know how to skate.
Yeah, I'm the sports guy who played, volleyball, soccer, basketball, and football. Not much ice on those.
Fair enough. She mocks Dean's skating skills, and he plays along in what's actually a really cute scene. Youngblood fake falls and pulls Jessie down on top of him. The two laugh, and at the free skates I went to, there was never a guard. But this guard checks on them and warns them to stay away from the boards or they'll get run over.
It's the movie Token Buffoon right there.
It really is. And then we get a psych egg right here, too, which also doesn't fit with this movie. It is a very conflicted at times. Somebody else came in to work on the script. There were two writers, so maybe that was it, but it just doesn't work. It's when the two start a game of tag and guard's not pleased. He chases them a few laps around the ice until they trick him into skating into a dessert table that's stationed at center ice. And, you get that face full of the dessert. Everybody laughs. They escape into the hallways of the rink and almost run into a singing and dancing Chadwick. They duck into his office to hide, which I thought was an odd choice because you'd think that's probably where he was headed. There's no practice, nothing. He's dancing towards them, towards his office. But
Chadwick doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's going to be singing and dancing down the hallway.
He clicks his heels. He jumps and clicks his heels and then stumbles and falls into the wall.
So he's not very well practiced at it.
No, it's just, I like the Chadwick character and I like what we just saw there, but those two things do not belong together.
No.
It's weird.
Tale of two stories.
Jessie shows Dean old trophies, newspaper clippings, and photos depicting his long career in hockey. He was once a great player, even getting a goal in an all-star game. Great job. Jessie asks Dean what happens if he doesn't make the pros. He talks about how nobody could catch him when he was a kid. Goes on to talk about his passion for hockey and how he has to get signed because he doesn't want to work on a mill or a farm. And Jessie asks, when were you young? How old do you think you are? And Dean answers, 17. And this is what I love here, because the look on Rob Lowe's face is hilarious. Like he's trying to convince himself. Did you ever watch Clone High?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the scene when Abe and Gandhi try to get Genghis Khan to buy beer and lie to the clerk saying he's 21? And it, like, the look on Lowe's face and the way the line from Clone High is delivered is perfect, because he just walks into the liquor store and says, "I am 21." And there's an awkward pause. And he just shakes his head violently. He's like, "I'm not 21." Because he's like 17. And the look on his face is like, definitely not 24. Definitely not. Dean talks about how his mother left the family when they were young. The brothers got over it, but their father never did. He takes Jesse back to his room at Miss McGill's, which seems like a really bad idea. Especially knowing what Miss McGill's plan is with all the boys that stay at her house.
Where else are they supposed to go?
I don't know.
Chadwick's house?
Sure.
Because that's where she lives. Don't see that as being a better idea.
You know, the bed is too creaky, so they throw the mattress on the floor and start removing each other's clothes. But oh no, Miss McGill wants tea. She preps the pot and heads upstairs, and they're already done. Jesus Christ, high sticking normally gets you 2 minutes in the box. Miss McGill walks in the post-coital couple, playing under the sheets, and looks shocked. She leaves the tea on a chair and slowly backs away, but makes eye contact with both of them as she's leaving. And this is some horror movie shit right here.
Yeah.
The look on her face is terrifying. It's sadness mixed with rejection and a hint of anger. And the kids just laugh about it. After she leaves, definitely feels out of place in this movie, man. But I got a great laugh and, you know, probably one of the high points of the movie. What? All right. Cut to Sutton's apartment, I guess. Looks like he's living in the attic of a warehouse. But whatever, it's 80s cool. I get it. Neon lights everywhere and whatnot. He offers Dean a shot of tequila in jest, but gets each of them a beer. He asks if McGill caught them before or after he put the puck in the net. See, I'm not the only one making sex jokes here related to hockey. I have to say that so far I've been actually really impressed with Swayze in this movie. He's only really done The Outsiders and Red Dawn before this, so he's never been that leading man, and he feels really comfortable as a supporting role. Fuck, man, he was such a great actor. What's your favorite Swayze role?
Pass.
Oh, okay. Sutton decides it's time to take out Dean's stitches, but not to worry, he's only had a couple cases of beer. He explains that if the players in Thunder Bay see the stitches, they'll try to open them up again. Sutton yeah,
makes sense.
It does make sense. He tells Dean he's a glutton for punishment for trying to date the coach's daughter, since he only looked at her once and was benched. Somehow Dean turns this around, saying Sutton only wants someone to pass him the puck, which I didn't get.
I found that in this entire scene, Sutton came off as kind of like chumsy.
Yeah.
And kind of, you know, some playful teasing. And Youngblood just came off as a dick.
Yeah. It was really weird and out of place. But I mean, that happens a lot in this movie, really, when you think about it. There's a constant shift in tone, whether it's the storytelling or the dialogue. It really is unbalanced, but consistently so. Where you just kind of get used to it, I guess.
I didn't get used to it.
Yeah. Sutton states he was doing perfectly fine before Dean showed up. He says all he wants is to be number one pick in the draft, but he's been busting his ass in the league for 4 years, and he deserves it. In any other movie, this, I think, would be a point where the two would really butt heads, but it's not here. And this is the one time I noticed that it's a really different take on what's expected to be a standard sports film, which kind of got me even more invested in it. Because it seems like there's a, you know, point-by-point playbook, if you will, as to how to make a sports film. And this just diverged out of nowhere.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a great heart-to-heart talk where they go back and forth about the tribulations of playing the game, but how the passion still remains. Then it cuts to the bus that takes Mustangs to Thunder Bay, where they're jeered by the fans of the undefeated Bombers. How do you feel about Thunder Bay Bombers?
Well, like the team?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They might be all right guys. I haven't really met any of them.
I really got the vibe that they're supposed to be like a throwback to the Broad Street Bullies of yesteryear.
Sure.
Yeah. Just a team of enforcers almost.
Yeah, it's a bunch of goons.
Yeah, basically. Dean immediately notices Racky plays for them. A definite omen of misfortune. We also get the same shitty ref Hannah from earlier. And as the puck drops, so do most of the Mustangs. Like we just said, the Bombers are a brutally physical team. In the locker room, Chadwick grills his team hard, adding the biggest mistake he made was letting Racky go. Ouch. He threatens the team by stating he'll send the 3 worst players of the game down to a junky Junior C League team.
The Tallahassee Warthogs.
I mean, I'd play for the Warthogs. It's a great name. Interesting twist here, too. How often do we get to see that coach give inspirational speech to his team? But here, all he really does is threaten them to play better.
Yeah. I mean, there's two schools behind coaching. Either you do it through fear or you do it through support.
But then he switches it, and at the end, he's calling the team a family and insisting that they need to work together.
Yeah, break them down to build them back up.
Not at the exact same time.
I don't know, man.
Back on the ice, Racky checks Heaver while outside of the crease. I don't know about OHL rules, but normally that would be a penalty. This causes a bench-clearing brawl. Heavy punches, sight gags of losing teeth, and Sutton kissing a ref. Hannah blows his whistle, which seems to do absolutely nothing, but then the period's over. It's just a mess. The Mustangs are hurting in the locker room. Dean is again told to take left wing since Naslin can no longer play. This puts the dream team of Sutton and Youngblood on the ice, allowing Sutton to get the first goal of the game. Honestly, at this point, I'm feeling like this is leading up to the final game of the movie. And after the game's over, I'm like, oh, we still have a decent chunk of this left. The Bombers retaliate by putting Racky on the line, and his only job is to take out Sutton. He checks him hard in the corner. Hewitt slashes Racky, and he gets a penalty as Dean helps Sutton to his feet. Hewitt
Man, does he slash him.
He slashes him hard.
He's not even trying to hide it.
No.
He just baseball bat swings that thing right in the open, at him.
Honestly, that would get him evicted from the game, but he only gets a penalty until he slap shots the puck at Hannah, and that gets him removed. Hannah's the worst referee, man.
Worst referee.
And we're not talking like actual hockey standards, but like Hollywood hockey standards. He's the worst. Sutton plots his revenge from the bench. The Bombers tie up the score as Racky gets his first goal for the team. Racky throws his puck at Chadwick, which starts a fight with Sutton. A fan throws his popcorn on Chadwick, so Chadwick knocks out the fan's friend, invigorating the team.
Yeah, so this is why I don't think the guy's going to be singing and dancing down the hallway as he's going out and fighting with members of the audience.
Yeah. And like he's fully aware who hit him with the food, but still beats up the guy next to him. He's a dick to the team. He's pretty blunt and rude with his daughter. He's not a singing, dancing type of guy. But
maybe that's why he's so upset. He's just secretly hiding his disappointment of never making it big as a singer and dancer.
Ah, the old sports mask. I get you.
Yeah, there you go.
I really did like the Chadwick character until your statement at the beginning of the episode. And as I'm going through my notes, I'm like, oh yeah, the character's pretty shit, isn't he?
Well, I didn't say he was shit. I just said I'm torn on him.
No, you're right.
You don't.
I think you said you didn't like the character, but you like the actor.
Yeah, I'm still kind of torn on it. I just like which direction is it coming and going? I don't know.
Yeah. Wow, it really is unbalanced.
Yeah.
I even wrote these notes and now I'm like, wow.
How did you not get this right away?
I don't know. Something's wrong with me.
That's cool, man. We all have our slip-ups.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Chadwick is removed, but doubles back through the hallways to call the game from the Zamboni entrance. Racky goes for Youngblood, but this sets up Sutton to nail him with a decent check. Dean gets the goal while Sutton cheers on his friend. Racky hits him high from behind, knocking off his helmet. He then hooks Sutton's feet, sending him toppling down and cracking his head off of the ice. Yeah, we all kind of had to expect this was coming, right?
I didn't think it would be so blatant as this, because I know they play it up in the movie saying, oh, he's not even going to get suspended. But it's like, that would get him arrested. Like,
yeah, it's attempted murder, really.
Like, I would have thought they'd make it a bit more of like a sneaky, like, underhanded move. Not in the middle of the open ice.
Yeah, and there's a few things about this that kind of had me puzzled. Like, if he hits him so hard from behind to knock his helmet off, he doesn't really go forward at all.
You would have thought he'd fall down.
Yeah, at least some forward motion. But he just kind of like stumbles a little bit, and then his helmet just goes flying off. But the hook from behind, that tripping, was nasty.
Yeah, and this was maybe the only time that they effectively did like camera shot, and they used a slow motion for this, which worked.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to heighten the dramatic effect of the moment. It was like the only time on the ice that they actually recorded something well.
And yeah, you're right. It was filmed very well, but as a plot point of the story, I felt really bad for Sutton. Really, really bad. And then I'm like, wait a minute, he's not the main character. Like, how would I feel if this was Dean? And then I thought, I wouldn't really care.
No. Sutton's my main character.
Yeah, right? It's like in Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell, where he thinks he's the main character. He's the lead of the movie, but he's not the main character of the story. And I this is what I'm getting here. I like Rob Lowe. He's fine. But you care about Swayze. You care about Sutton.
I don't think that's necessarily on Rob Lowe. It's the writing. The script was made in a way that made Sutton more likable and a character you want to root for. And that's not based on the actors. It's just literally that's how they wrote it.
I don't know. If you put anybody other than Swayze in that role, I don't think you care that much. Oh, wait, you're not a Swayze fan. Maybe you do. I don't know.
No,
Maybe
I
I'm
like
biased.
Swayze, but I just literally think that if you take away the actors and just look at the context of it, you have this brash young guy who acts like he's all that, stands up, is like, I mean, he's hunting Racky down after he makes it onto the team. Like, it's not even a humble winner right there. And then you see a guy like Sutton who's been plugging away for 4 years, and it's not the actors in my mind, it's the writing. These characters are flipped.
Yeah. I agree with that. I really do. Again, like I've been saying throughout this entire episode, there's a lack of balance. Something's going on here, and I think that might actually be it. We're focusing on the wrong character. We do see Youngblood and the team and coaches surround Sutton on the ice, though, and it's incredibly serious. The ref calls for an ambulance. I didn't think Dean touched Sutton at all, but he looks down at his hand, now covered in Sutton's blood.
He puts his hand under his head.
He does, okay.
Yeah.
He stares at Racky, who takes a seat on the bomber's bench. Dean visits Sutton at the hospital. He's bandaged up, and we learn that the hit necessitated putting a plate in his head. Sutton has no idea what happened, so Dean has to let him know that Racky blindsided him. All Sutton cares about is that Dean got him back, and our hero, I guess, regrettably lies, saying that he did. Bus ride back to Hamilton is filled with low morale. Dean overhears the assistant coaches talk about Sutton's state and how they really needed that win. Which, the way they said that made me think that they lost, but apparently they did win that game. As the team gets back to the locker rooms, Chadwick enters, demanding they put their gear back on for a contact drill. They were lucky to win the game, and had it gone another 10 minutes, they would have had their asses kicked.
Read the room, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if the game would have gone longer and you would have lost the game. Your star player is in the hospital.
Yeah, it's bad.
This is maybe the one time that I agree with Youngblood. I would have walked out on that coach too.
I don't know if I would have quit, though.
I'm fairly certain I wouldn't be quitting because I'm pretty sure the majority of the team would be like, up yours.
Yeah, exactly. Unify. Dean stands up to the coach, demanding to know why they should practice now, and Chadwick threatens to cut him if he doesn't suit up in 5 minutes. Of course, Youngblood walks out of the locker room and out of the Mustangs. Dean and Jesse have a blowout over what Dean thinks he should have done. For the first time in his life, he didn't want to play the game. Kelly picks up his brother, and the Youngbloods drive back to the farm. And this is a part of the movie I actually really enjoy. Kelly chides Dean for giving up and makes some really good points. Like, Kelly begged for them to let him play hockey with one eye. Sutton wouldn't have just quit. Dean could have stayed for the rest of the season and make Racky pay, since Racky's only getting benched for one game and then back on the ice. Also states that Chadwick is the best coach in the league, which, as we discovered, fucking can't be the truth. But he's being a really good motivational brother. Maybe not motivational, but pointing out mistakes made and telling him to realize what he's done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Dean's just an ass, yelling that Kelly wouldn't have made it anyway since all he knew how to do was fight.
Continuing the trend of Dean being an ass.
Yeah.
Or showing it.
Yeah. But the thing, though, is like, I get the Dean has a period of self-doubt element of the movie, sure. But I don't really think at any other point he just shits on other people. Yet here, that's all he does to Kelly. It doesn't really fit. And yeah, I guess I'm going to stop blaming the writers. I'm just going to stop.
Okay, sounds good.
Montage of farm work and Dean being pensive. At dinner one night, Kelly reads a sports section of the paper, relaying the events of the previous night's game where the Bombers crushed the Mustangs and Hewitt has been removed from the final game. Which I'm pretty sure Hewitt shows up playing in anyway, but...
No, he's watching.
He's
watching in the stands.
Okay, oh, that's right.
He's standing like just behind the team's box in the stands.
The next day, Kelly teaches Dean how to fight using an old punching bag hanging in the barn. Kelly reminds Diener to get the stick away from him before throwing punches. And here we get a 3-second shot where Kelly punches the bag hard and mutters, "You fuck." Which is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Because I take this as Kelly thinking back to the guy that put him out of the game. And if that's actually the case, that's a good job. A good way of getting across emotion. It adds a lot of depth to a character that gets minimal screen time. I don't know if you caught that at all, but that was probably one of the most powerful moments of the movie for me.
Not really, no.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Well, I'm here to disappoint.
And you always do.
Ouch, man.
Sorry. Montage of Dean practicing shots and stick handling on the ice, exercising, working the punching bag, all while his father takes note. And one day, Blaine joins his son on the ice. He tries to tempt Dean into fighting him, and Dean loses immediately. His father tells him he can learn how to punch in a barn, but he has to learn how to survive on the ice. So yeah, Dean, being an asshole, has a surprisingly supportive family. Blaine shows him the basics of how to have an actual hockey fight and admits he didn't support Dean before because he didn't want another son to get hurt. And
it's a completely understandable reason.
It is. It really is. Like, one son's partially blind, and like he had to watch him go through the fact that he can't follow his dreams anymore. He's stuck on the farm. He doesn't want to be there, but he is. He doesn't want that for his youngest son.
Yeah, especially considering that the one that got injured is the one that does know how to fight.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to the one who can't?
Dean takes it as a good enough reason, and they get back at it. The next night, Dean goes back to Hamilton for the Memorial Cup game against the Bombers, and they just let him rejoin. I don't think he can do that.
Don't know.
No.
I guess it's up to the team.
A cool scene. Is it, though? Like, it's a cool scene. You get to see Dean's determination. I kind of guess you see Chadwick's respect for him. You get Sutton calling for the coach to let him in. I think it's pretty unrealistic, but whatever. It works for the movie. Inside the locker room, Sutton admits he knew Dean would show. He tells Dean to forget about Racky since he isn't worth it. He should just get out there and win the game. The two hug, and you can see the emotions on Chadwick and assistant coach Frazier's faces.
My question is, how long has it been between games?
I don't know. It should not be that long, but it feels like he was back on the farm for a while.
Because you figure, it feels like that montage and the training and being on the farm was a while. And they do allude to missing one game while he's there. But it just didn't feel like it lined up to me.
And I don't think Sutton would be up and around that quick.
It was a few weeks later.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's game time. Over the loudspeakers, you can hear a voice say that alcohol in the rink is prohibited and violators will be prosecuted.
What?
This is followed by loud booing from the crowd and totally cements this as a Canadian hockey game. I've never heard that before.
No.
The announcer states that Youngblood is back to a volley of cheers, and the ref drops the puck. The Mustangs present a more aggressive approach this time. Dean sees that his father and brother have made the trip to watch him play. 2 periods in, and Dean still hasn't had any ice time. Racky scores the first goal of the game, and that's enough for Chadwick to put Youngblood in. I don't know why now. That doesn't really seem like coaching.
Oh, maybe he didn't need. It was only when he needed the scoring, I guess.
Yeah. Jesse cheers from the stand as Dean ties the score. Racky's sent in and hits Dean with a high stick to the face. The ever-incompetent Hannah misses it and is pressured to call the whistle. Doctor pulls Dean from the game to examine the damage. Without Dean, the Bombers are dominating puck control. They score another goal at the end of the second period. And it looks like they just kind of broke one of Dean's teeth. I don't know if that'd be enough to pull somebody from the game. With 1 period to go, Chadwick amps up his team, and this is finally that stereotypical rallying speech that we've kind of been expecting.
You ruined it.
Dean's back now and holding his hits, but drops from a shoulder check from Racky. Ties it up with a double wraparound, which I've never seen before. Somebody would have been able to stop him from that. But he does so with 10 seconds left in the game. And honestly, as a viewer of this film at this point, I don't know if they're actually going to win. It's shrugged off the majority of sports tropes from your average film, so I could easily see the Mustangs losing, and I kind of wish that's the direction we went in.
Yeah, I don't think the end result mattered.
No, you're right, it doesn't. Racky trips Dean, but Hannah stalls before calling a penalty, which leaves 3 seconds of gameplay. This results in a penalty shot for the Deaner. Blaine and Kelly stand and cheer Dean on, and the rest of the crowd following suit. And of course, Dean outmaneuvers the Bombers goalie and scores. With 3 seconds left, it's now Mustangs 3, Bombers 2.
Even in sports movies that I'm used to seeing where there's one hot shot that's overcoming all odds, he ain't getting the hat trick.
No.
How selfish can you be, Dean? At least one of them should have been an assist or something.
I didn't even realize that would have been a hat trick for him.
Yeah.
Fucking Dean. The face.
He's not a likable character. He's not.
No, I'm realizing this now. He sucks. How many times are we just going to turn on the protagonist of the movies we cover?
How many times are the movies we cover going to have shitty protagonists?
Yeah, maybe that is a running theme here. The face-off pits Racky against Youngblood, but Chadwick tries to replace Dean with Rossini. Dean refuses to be pulled, and we continue. That's not how hockey works, but okay. The clock runs out, and we finally get our fight between Dean and Racky. Diener gets Racky's stick away, the gloves are dropped, and the punches fly. Of course, Dean wins the fight, but the problem is that he only learned how to punch, and you can't really learn how to get hit. Throughout the film, one punch drops Dean, and here he takes quite a few and is fine for some reason. I know it's the end of the movie, sure, but that, I don't know about you. That doesn't work for me.
Works for me just fine.
Make him learn how to dodge or something, dude.
No, because think about it. He takes a lot of hits in this movie, right?
When does it ever stop him? Single punches.
When does it ever stop him though? When he gets hit by Racky in the very beginning at the training camp, he just gets up. He gets stitches. He gets stitches with no Novocaine, and they just show him flinch a little bit. Clearly, the guy can take a hit.
No, he can't though.
He gets
hit once at a time and drops every time.
Falls over, but he gets back up.
Eventually.
He's not on the ice crying.
He doesn't jump back up and go at it. What are you, pro Youngblood now?
Just because he can't balance
You a
on his
Diener
skates
fan?
and gets knocked over doesn't mean that he shows a very high tolerance for pain throughout the entire movie.
You're a Rob Lowe apologist. I get it now.
Get out of here.
Anyway, the Mustangs raise Dean up on their shoulders. Chadwick lights a cigar in celebration, and Dean calls out to Jesse in the stands. Fade to an empty rink later that night. Notice the Loblaw's out on the boards. Dean walks out on the ice as some kids enter. They ask him for his autograph, and as he chats with them, Jesse appears. They thank Mr. Youngblood for the autographs, and Jesse meets him on the ice. She tells him he looks like shit, but she loves him anyway. They kiss, but he pulls back, bruised face, broken teeth, and all. And they laugh it off and walk off the ice, fade to black, and roll credits. So how do you feel about that, man?
I thought we'd talk about that at the end.
Oh, okay. You want to talk numbers?
Numbers!
Pretty average, really. $8 million budget, made 15.4.
That's not bad.
Not that good.
No, but it's...
But I guess
whatever.
these aren't really big stars yet. So, yeah,
No.
Okay. That makes sense. I completely disagree with the rating of 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, similar, 68%. I'm more along the lines of the critics who gave it 44.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, we blazed through those numbers.
Well, there's not really much to talk about. I mean, it's pretty much standard, right? It had a mediocre budget. It made some bucks. Nothing to brag about. Scores pretty close to average throughout critics and audience. I think we kind of have like a standard sports film here, after all.
Fair enough. I mean, I guess as long as it's not a loss financially, it's a win in their books.
Yeah, and I don't know how much marketing or advertising they did because of like the lack of star power in the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that doubling your budget to cover ads, maybe that doesn't apply here. I mean, they definitely went on to have amazing careers, the actors anyway. So
yeah,
it's not like it sullied their reputation. Award time?
Award time.
The old worst performance.
That's your start.
Yeah. And I will make a statement here in that I don't think there is a worst. I think it's another case of the least best.
I agree with you fully. I really was hard pressed to find a worse performance in this.
Yeah. And I don't like to say it, but I think it has to go to Cynthia Gibb. She did the best with what she was given, but
she wasn't really given much to work with.
They didn't give her anything. She's just a standard love interest in an 80s movie. And if they gave her more, she could have done so much more. It just felt like a wicked talent that fell victim to a standout trope of a sports film.
Yep.
You?
I went with Cynthia Gibb.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, man?
And the thing is, I don't think she had a poor performance, but I have to get into like nitpicking territory. There was a few points where it's like, yeah, her charisma with, or not charisma, chemistry with Rob Lowe was a little low at first. Although when they went skating, it was a little bit more charming, especially when like he pretended to fall over. That was pretty cute and a lot more believable for charisma. But even like little things like when when they sneak into Chadwick's office and she starts holding a skate and starting to make poses, it's like, this isn't necessary. And it's definitely not your type of like body work.
Yeah. I don't know if that was improv or something, but it didn't fit with the character.
No, I feel like a hockey coach's daughter who was also an all-star would know how to hold a stick better.
Yeah.
So, but again, I mean, she still was fine. It's just that there really wasn't anybody that was like egregiously bad or stood out in this. Yeah, I guess if he had more airtime, maybe you would go with Keanu for his bad French-English accent. But the dude had like 4 lines.
Yeah, he was hardly there. I think you could really rework the script here, balance it out a lot, and like flesh out some characters that really should have been given more time.
Well, I'm pretty confident that Keanu Reeves, after like the first like game that they play as a team, you don't see him without his mask on again for the rest of the movie.
No, I don't think so.
But whatever. Okay. All right. So we both agreed on that one.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went with Cynthia, but I think that it does make the most sense.
I don't know who else you could go with. Maybe Eric Nestorenko as the
Nestorenko,
dad,
Blaine, yeah.
but he's in like 2 scenes.
He's also
not
a hockey player. He's not an actor.
Yeah, but again, like doesn't fit our criteria of barely being in the movie to be eligible.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about that.
What do you got for best performance?
I went with Swayze as Derek Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a guy who I bought into everything he was doing at the beginning when they were there, jeering the guys that were trying out for the team. I bought into his cockiness and his carefreeness. When they were at the bar, he felt like a leader. He felt like a fun-loving guy. When they were in the apartment, I felt his like desperation to make it big, to become something of himself. When he had his moment with Dean at the end, when his head was wrapped and they shared a hug, like I bought everything that he was putting down.
Oh, he's the personification of charisma.
Yeah.
Great choice. Great choice. Like the only issue I have is that that's Swayze in almost everything.
So you're going to dock him for being good in everything?
I find that he's just like that in everything. Like almost every role, he ends up being that character.
Yeah, but we're not talking about every role. We're talking about this role.
I know.
And in this role, he did fun-loving, egotistical, heartwarming, and, you know, like kind of sad. Like,
no, I get it. You like him. That's fine.
Full spectrum.
I went with Ed Lauder.
It was the dancing, wasn't it?
It was the dancing.
Yeah.
That heel click, and I was sold. No,
as soon as his heels clicked, it clicked in my mind.
Clicked.
Best performance.
No, you could tell by the look on his face that he didn't believe a lot of the lines that he had to spew out in this movie. But it was the facial emotions that he had through every scene. Like he conveyed so much emotion when he wasn't saying anything. And yeah, some of the lines felt forced, but believable. I get the charisma from Swayze for your choice, but every time
it wasn't just the charisma, it's also the versatility.
Okay. Every time Lauder was on screen, I just was watching what he was doing. Even if he wasn't the main focus, like he was commanding attention for me.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say he wasn't great. I just think that they gave Swayze more of a larger spectrum of emotion where Chadwick, aside from the dancing, was a pretty one-note character.
And Swayze also had more screen time, too, so you got to see him a little bit more, which makes sense.
Why you're arguing me on this.
Swayze's amazing.
Then I really don't know why you're arguing with me on this, then.
I'm not arguing.
All right, then.
I just picked somebody else.
All right.
For memorable line.
Or favorite.
Yep. It was in the warehouse apartment, I guess, of Sutton.
Okay.
After talking about how you have to play the game by other people's rules, Dean asks, do you still like playing? And Sutton just mutters, fucking love it. And then laughs and shrugs with his beer in his hand. I love it. That sums up the spirit of the movie for me. And it also, as we were talking about before, this makes me feel like Derek Sutton is supposed to be the main character.
Yeah, because no matter what, he's talking about all the trials and tribulations and how there's politics in hockey and we're playing for them and not me, but you brush all that aside and he still just loves the game.
Yeah, and you could not get that out of Dean Youngblood.
Not a chance.
No, it just doesn't work. That really, really stuck out at me, and I love that scene. I love that line. That line's great. What about you?
Well, right now, I'm feeling disappointed in myself for not writing that one down. I think I want to change my pick. What I had written down was, where else could I get beaten up every day, treated like shit by prima donna Canadians, get my nuts shaped, and then just trails off.
That's a good one, man.
Because he's like, I'm talking to her. Maybe I shouldn't divulge this. And I guess it's a cute follow-up, too, because she just is like, don't worry, it'll grow back.
Yeah. No, I don't know. There's some good scenes between those two.
Yeah, I feel like I made the wrong pick on that one.
No, that was a good one. What about memorable scene?
So my most memorable scene was Miss
Credits.
McGill violating Dean Youngblood. And I think it's more for the fact that two of his hockey playing teammates are in the hallway watching. And Keanu Reeves says, "She do this to me last year, eh?" And then what was the other
Hewitt.
guy's? Hewitt mocks his French accent and says, "She do this to me last night, eh?" Oh, that sounded more Italian.
It was a super awkward scene, though.
It was so weird. If you watch this movie and you don't remember that scene for a variety of different reasons, awkward, weird, disturbing, then maybe the scene where she comes in with the tea later because it's like the setup for a horror movie.
Oh my God, it looked like a scene out of The Visit. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but like it was terrifying.
I know I haven't seen that. Oh, come on. We almost made it a whole episode without me calling out not seeing another movie.
What about in like It Chapter 2? No? The old woman scuttles by in the background in the kitchen? No? Okay.
I saw It Chapter 1. So 50-50 chance we missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. What did you have for your favorite or most memorable scene?
Kelly calling out Dean in his room.
Okay.
After he quits and goes back to the farm. I thought it was super honest and emotional. Was character building for both of them in a very short amount of time. Great acting. A scene of great writing and some great direction.
We never really did talk much about it, but the relationship between the brothers, I would root for Kelly over Dean myself.
Yeah.
Kelly just seems like such a good brother. He's like, I didn't bust my ass doing the work of two people for you to just quit.
For no extra pay.
Right? Here's the guy who just like, yeah, you know what? I will do the work. I will drive you there. Like, what a supportive brother. And then when Dean comes back and pisses him off and throws it back in his face and is just being an asshole like he does, he still takes the time. All right, let me teach you how to fight.
Yeah.
Right?
But also,
there's nothing I can offer you except for all I know how to do is fight. So let me, geez, Kelly is a stand-up dude.
Kelly's great. Kelly's probably one of the best characters in this movie. But I also understand Dean feeling like he needs to prove something to himself and others. Because in that dynamic of the two brothers and the father, Dean gets shit on. And it's indirectly from his father, who's kind of like, I get the feeling where he thinks Blaine, the father, like, if Kelly couldn't make it, you sure as hell can't make it. But that's not the case. It's actually, I don't want both of my boys to get hurt.
Yeah.
But Dean's mindset is they think I can't do it. When in
even
reality,
though
they
Kelly
know
is
he
the one
can.
who's supporting him.
Exactly. You know what? You're right. Dean sucks.
Dean does suck.
You have any final thoughts on that film? Because I think we kind of summed it up with Dean does suck.
I didn't like it.
No?
No, this might have been one of the most boring sports movies I've watched, and it's one of the genres that I've seen many. Mm-hmm. There is absolutely pockets of entertainment in here. A few good characters, but honestly, I would rather watch the movie where Kelly, as a younger player before he gets injured, goes and plays with Sutton in Hamilton, and the movie ends with him getting injured. I don't want to see this Dean garbage. And honestly, it might have helped if the actual on-ice action was done well, because that's where a lot of the transitions in the movie happen. And with them feeling so slow, it almost feels like the hockey parts, like what's happening on the ice, is an interlude between the other scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This isn't a sports movie, I don't think.
No, but it's the problem is they teeter this like the fence on if it's a sports movie or not, and it's like you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, I think they believe this to be a sports film, but as you're watching it, that's a lie. It's not. Mm-hmm. There's not enough focus on the sport. What's displayed is not displayed properly. I would love to see the story you're talking about with Kelly and and Sutton in Hamilton, and leading up to the career-ending injury. I think that would be a brilliant story. I'd love to see that. I do like a lot of what we see on the screen here. Like I said, it's not a sports film though. It's just it's not even a coming of age film. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. So it's a not recommend for me, not because it's terrible, but because it's just confused.
Yeah, it's
It
a
has
not
no
recommend for
identity.
me either.
Yeah. That's a shame.
I mean, it's one of those where you can see the potential's there, and if they just made a few better decisions on the direction of the movie, it could have been a can't miss. But unfortunately, it's not. So that is what we essentially thought of this one. If you guys have thoughts on Youngblood, 1986's hockey movie, hit us up on social media. We are on Twitter at BS Bargain Bin. We are on Facebook.com/BS Bargain Bin. Or you can, drop a comment in the YouTube section where all of these videos are posted. All right, Ben, what are we watching next week, sir?
Well, that's actually up to you. I couldn't decide, but I've got two very different films. I'm going to let you pick based off of genre alone.
Okay, that seems like a bad idea, but let's do it.
Mm-hmm. One is a comedy horror.
Okay.
The other seems like it could be a drama thriller. One I have seen, but a while ago. The other I have not. So your pick, sir.
I gotta say, I don't like those choices very much. Let's go comedy horror then.
All right. So next week we'll be talking about 2015's The Final Girls.
Camp Bloodbath is the granddaddy of all campsite slasher films. Max's mom plays Nancy, this shy girl next door.
Nice legs. What time they open?
It's cool you get to remember your mom this way.
At least I get to see her on the anniversary of her death, even if she is being chased by a psycho. Guys, somebody's coming.
Hey, do you guys know the way to Camp Bluefinch?
Tina! So, we're in the movie.
Oh, hi. What's your name?
Best summer ever! Anyone want to help me pick some strawberries?
Nope, but I'll give you a hand with those melons. Talking about her boobs.
The writing is so bad.
What is that noise?
It's Billy. He's coming. Everyone who has sex in this movie dies. It's awesome.
No sex.
Wait. Selfie time.
How do we get out of here?
Movies like this end when the final girl kills the bad guy and the credits roll.
That's Paula. That's the final girl. We just have to stay with her till the end of the movie.
Oops.
I want to know where they keep the hardware. I want chainsaws and big-ass knives, and I want them now.
Guys? What's happening? Why am I colorblind? Am I having a stroke?
We're in a flashback.
Wonder if all this blood is just corn syrup, like these characters are walking around with just corn syrup in their veins. Oh, no. Oh, God, that's blood.
I know in the movie you're supposed to die, but that doesn't mean you have to, right?
What do we do now?
We fight.
All right. Until next time, have a good one, guys.
All the best, guys.